Okay, let's go. Live stream. Where's the camera? There it is. There it is, boys. There it is. Okay, let's get it starting. Where should we start? Yeah, first of all, let me explain why we are still not launching anything when we're ready. I think Tyler is like the guy who's like demanding it. And I'm pretty sure every one of you is like asking yourself. And I think um, I have to explain like why we were launching everything so fast, and why we're now taking our time. So, from a technical perspective, uh, Binance Chain is ready. So, meaning we have already the stocks deployed. Some stocks, not all of them, because the price for deploying stuff on Binance Chain is significantly higher than on XDAI. So, instead of us deploying everything, we will enable you users to deploy the stuff yourself. And then we probably also gonna do the make 2 to 3 thousand stocks available to deploy. So it's not only 500, but way more. Yeah, so that is what is coming on the technical side, and we have the staking is ready. I can show you some of the. I'm not sure where we uploaded it, which website, so I cannot show you the live version, but I can show you how it will look from yeah, design perspective. So we're having now, the interface is getting a little bit more complicated because there's so much more stuff that you can do. So for example, you can click on get, then you're obviously getting forwarded to the vault pop-up. Now everything will be in one page, meaning you can lock your tokens in one place. There is no vault page anymore. Everything will be in one user interface. And also, like, you will also be able to exit the vault over a period of time. Let me quickly explain what that means. It's basically like, um, instead of like instead of locking your tokens and then at one date every token can be unlocked, we are now switching to a system where you can unlock your tokens over a period of time, and every day you will basically getting some tokens, and you can claim them whenever you want and sell them. And the idea is to get this down to something about 7 days. Okay, so the maximum time that you're locking, and then you could basically unlock immediately again, and after 7 days you would have your tokens completely restored. Of course, uh, your your staking rewards would then also be diminished over time. So it's probably not worth it to to lock and then stake and unstake again immediately. You would basically diminish your return. But we want everyone to have like not a long period of time of locking. So yeah, basically we are borrowing some elements from like some rebase coins where you have like a 24 hours period or cycle, and then after every 24 hours everything is basically cleared, and there is the new day, and all of the losses, all of the profits are cleared, and you can basically yeah, so everything is set to zero. Rewards are paid out over the next 24 hours. And yeah, so there is also an, if you're locking tokens or if you're staking tokens and then unlocking them. You have like a 24-hour period until you can withdraw them, which is this unfreeze. You can basically anytime exit the vaults. I think this is wrong here. Should be there. And yeah, so you have some form of uh, exiting the system. So yeah, that is when this system is in place one time, then we can expand on that. So we can from there on. Yeah, that is basically like Dairy 228. That is basically the point. What are we getting on rewards here? And we will be the first thing we will be utilizing is Yearn Finance. So um, we're also in talks with them. So yeah, uh, I'm not sure about the growth rates. Like there is this, we had some serious 50% on ETH here. Currently it's like down to 12. So you can see there's definitely a diminishing return. So probably between 20%, 10 to 30%. It's like maybe we can get from Yearn Finance. What are we getting on Harvest Finance? Yeah, 10%. So ETH2 are definitely down. Alpha Homora integration is something that we're planning. So Alpha Homora is hard to find. Yeah, what do you get here? Yeah, of course, like we cannot go into, but we also want to enable that it's possible to actually go into other pools that are not accessible with Ethereum alone. So you're basically swapping your Ethereum with the risk that you're at the end not getting the same amount of Deus back that you deposited, but with the potential of getting more. No, nothing will be replaced. Okay, like there will be no replacement. We're just unstaking and staking again. The underlying stuff is still, everything is still the same. Nothing changes there. So this has nothing to do with the balancer pool. Does this make sense? Like this has nothing to do with the vaults. You have to imagine it like this, okay? You have the vaults here, okay? And on top you now have the staking, which stays, okay? This stays completely. Vaults are exactly like before. Then also the balancer pool is exactly like before. Then on top of this you have the staking, okay? Stays exactly like before. And now on top of this you have the yield farming, okay? This is the new addition. But the base is staying exactly like before. There is nothing changes there. So yeah. This is the only new part here. And also additional to that is like the exit system. Okay? Which is coming on top of that too. But here nothing changes. Of course the exit system influences the vaults. What influences the balancer? I think for balancer, like if you want to exit, like I don't think this is how we do it. If you want to exit the balancer pool, you will have to swap your balancer tokens first to sealed DEA, and then you can exit the DEA vaults. Yes. So you cannot exit the balancer pool token directly. Makes sense because the balancer pool token has like 5 underlying tokens, and this would make everything more complicated. Yeah, yeah, it's 3 months. You will need 3 months to exit the vault completely. And then after 3 months, maybe we will decrease it 2 months. And then when that works out, decrease it to 1 month. And when that works out, decrease it to 2 weeks. And then, yeah. Yeah, there is always something like we should have the possibility. I was also thinking of creating some form of infinite club where you have someone locking his liquidity forever and based on that getting some special yeah position, like more yield from every, like basically there could be an infinite tax on everything, 3%, and no matter what other people are doing, it's flowing to that people locking forever. So yeah, I'm sure there are stuff people exit, like let's launch it and then we see which wallets are exiting. We can we can uh, we can brand mark them. We can make a list of their wallets and post it into the price chat automatically every 10 hours. Yeah, me too. I also love that kind of infinite club idea. So yeah, that's definitely something we're. Oh yeah, and also we did a new web design. The, I can also show maybe the design for the Binance Chain. Yeah, so we have a new website. Of course, some of texts are not final. Stuff is still being improved, but we now have that cool uh, Nick Szabo uh, quote that I love so much, which is basically describing a protocol similar to Deus. And of course, we also have our Taurus back. So the Taurus was actually like quite a story because we were having like we were doing like something similar, and then like first of all, like the first thing was like, okay, so uh, we had like this Taurus, and then we were like aware of the fact that this was not an open source Taurus. Then we were like contacting the person that we're selling the Taurus, and then he was like, no, he's not interested in selling it to our project. He doesn't believe in crypto. It doesn't share its values. And then we were like making a similar Taurus, and then of course it was also not. Uh, he was also not d'accord with it. And then he was like saying he's not selling it because now there is a like NFT hype, and maybe he can sell it as an NFT. And then yeah, uh, Coin Lord, what the fuck? Don't scare me. You're funny. So yeah, um, what would be the next thing to talk about? Let's talk about the oracles without talking about the oracles. So yeah, um, we're we built our own stock API. So yeah, I was having calls with multiple projects, like multiple data projects. So for example, there's Polygon IO. I was having calls with them. They basically told me that we can forget it. We can forget to work with Nasdaq or New York Stock Exchange. Uh, they will never support crypto projects. And they're a pretty young team. They also work with Robinhood. And yeah, also Revolut and basically everyone. And they were like telling me like they're pretty open and they're in favor of crypto and democratizing access to stock data, but they also told us that there's basically no way of doing it. So now we are still in contact, like we are still working with FinHub, but FinHub is not very reliable. There is always some downtimes. Sometimes one day everything was down, and we also didn't have any. Uh, I mean, there is no there is no risk involved because we're just not uh, like you're just not able to trade. But yeah, it's not the like the experience that we wanna have on deals. Even if it's not done by us, even if we are not doing the like if we are not taking trading offline, then yeah, there's still some centralization. So and also, 1 minute. Uh, yeah, of course. Uh, so no way of doing it. Yeah, I also asked them. Is like, hey, so what you're telling me is basically this. Um, if we are buying or if we're using the newest price feed, we basically first of all we have to have every user have to check mark that they're using this data not for professional use, okay? And also we have to make KYC with every user, and we also have to pay like $1 to $3 per user that uses this. And then I was like asking, but how is Google doing it? Like, how can you check the price of Tesla at Google without accepting anything or any terms or making KYC? And yeah, it's basically because they're paying so much. So they're paying. So yeah, in our sense, I think paying millions of dollars is just doesn't make sense. So there are some open source uh, there are some open source libraries, like for example Y Finance, and they're open source, and we are basically now extending on them and create we created something that is similar but uh, live and way more reliable. So that is definitely something that other projects can also utilize, and we are already in talks with some projects. Like basically everyone that we are talking to about stuff like that is very interested. Um, we are definitely like with 50,000 stocks that are able that we are able to provide there in the feed, and all of crypto. Like I think 120 exchanges we integrated into the Oracle. And on the other side, one thing that is very exciting, where we are now working on, is like bridges. And uh, currently, it's like still really bridging, which means you have like, for example, you have Ethereum, okay, and then you have here Binance Chain, and then you have a contract on both sides, and you send token to one contract, and it sends it out on the other side. But the the final idea, or like the next step, would be having the market maker on Ethereum for Deus, and then also having the market maker on Binance Chain. There were some problems with it. There's some uh, issues. For example, if someone is basically buying Deus on both market makers at the same time and they're getting out of sync based on that. And we're currently researching a model where you have in an oracle you have order sequencing, and based on that no one can buy at the same time for the same price. So if he's like buying here, price already increases here, and it's like orders are sequenced, and you cannot front run on even like no matter what you pay with Gwei or something, it is always based on the timestamp of your order and not based on the timestamp, like or not based on the Gwei, like you order in your in the transactions. And that is also basically the end of front running or any kind of sandwich attacks. So we could then utilize it and leverage that and not only have it for Deus, but we could basically then create a cross-chain bank core protocol where you have like can trade any crypto cross-chain with order sequencing on all chains simultaneously. So that was one thing that we're researching. Yeah, and then we could basically, I think someone asked like what is DUSD? Oh, and also yeah, I'm seriously considering like going away from the Deus um, name for the token and rename it in DUSD, DETH. So it's more clearer for users that they're actually more holding uh, Ethereum. And then we could also make a version that is backed by some stablecoin, for example USDC or DAI. Would you rename Deus to Dia? You mean like Dia Finance? Um, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that because like Dia sounds like DEA. But yeah, I think renaming the whole project is somehow goes too far. But Deef is cool, yeah. Deef is cool. Deus Finance is a cool name, yeah. But it should be more obvious to people that the Deus token is actually some form of Ethereum. Yes. Deus to Deef, yes. And then we can because like what would Algot like Algot is actually in favor of that. It was like one of his idea. Yeah, it was his idea to have like a DUSD. So we could then also do a DBTC, which is cool because with our Oracle and bridges, we already have a Bitcoin bridge, so we could utilize real Bitcoins in and make it cross-chain available for cross-chain liquidity farming on all chains, which is yeah. Baffleman, no, the new trading interface is not ready yet. We'll probably need 3 more months to be ready. So there is nothing to show yet. Yeah, we have a Bitcoin bridge. Bitcoin Ethereum nodes like Ethereum based machine node, like Ethereum machine-based node, yeah, and a Bitcoin node that are connected in the Oracle as an app is already installed. So yeah, uh, would but like honestly, I'm not getting Tor chain. Like I'm getting it, but I think it is like, mm, it's like you have like those different layers, okay, and then you have like the Tor chain like as a layer, and then you're like sequencing the orders. But from what I like my I'm having that problem with the I'm having that problem with the uh where is it? BabSwap. Is it this? Chaosnet? Yeah, I think it was this. Yeah, yeah. I was trying to swap some. Um, anyway, I was trying to swap something, and there was just a huge amount of slippage. So I think that's an issue. I think like when you're relying on liquidity, it's like you will never like every actually it's like this, okay? Like every chain, like we have to understand the following thing. So every chain is by nature not connected, okay? And like bridging a token is super easy, okay? You can just create a new token on the other chain, and then you can create a contract. You mint token on the one side and you burn it on the other side, or you lock it on the other side and mint it on the other side. And like the actual problem is that like when you're moving the token, okay, you're not moving the liquidity. You know, like every token has an underlying liquidity. And if you, for example, the Deus token, okay, on Ethereum, Deus token has its underlying liquidity. You can sell it to the Deus market maker and get Ethereum for it. Okay, so this is on the Ethereum chain. When you now move the Binance, like you now move that Deus token and you create a new Deus token and you mint it on Binance Chain and you create a bridge and you have a bridge and you can move the Deus token on that bridge. But on Binance Chain you don't have a market maker and you don't have the underlying liquidity, so it, it didn't really bridge. So for example on Binance Chain, to move a token, the only way to move the actual liquidity is by using the Binance bridge, because the Binance bridge is the bridge with the most liquidity. So solving the problem of bridges always also needs to solve the problem of how you get the liquidity over. So, and with Deus token, with Deus bridge, we are doing it differently, because when you have the Ethereum, okay, and you also have the market maker for Deus, and you now move that market maker also. Damn, what two M's? You move that market maker also, and in the background you can move that liquidity, and you use that first grade bridges, okay? Like on Binance, you use the Binance bridge or some other heavy liquid bridge, and then you can basically move any token. And now imagine we are now creating a market maker for other assets. So for example, we also create a market maker for DEA. So now we can also move DEA, and we can move it, and we also move the liquidity, because that's the important part. You move the liquidity with the token, underlying liquidity, underlying value. And you cannot create that value out of thin air. So every token that you have, there's no cross chain. It's not really cross chain. You're basically artificial liquidity. I'm not getting it. So you have a token, and you say it's cross chain. It's not really cross chain. In the end, it's more like you have two tokens and they have two different underlying liquidities on two chains. So it's not like combined. And that is the real problem. So with Tor chain, I think that they still have the same problem. Still have you move the tokens, but the liquidity is not moving. And then you maybe move your Binance tokens to another chain, but when you now sell them, price impact is so big, you actually lost money. So you didn't. Still makes more sense to actually use the Binance bridge for Binance. And it probably will always make the most sense to use the Binance bridge. Until you're having a system where liquidity can be moved to. So you should use the underlying the native bridge of the project because it has the most liquidity as a base. And then you also have a market maker that utilizes that liquidity. And then on top of that, you can move all the tokens. Yeah. Like here and that. Example. No, it's like this. So yeah, but like I'm not sure if this would classify as a synthetic. Um, no, it's there is a maybe yeah, CrewFox. Centralize liquidity on one chain, but create synthetics to create artificial liquidity on other chain. So don't need to move the actual liquidity, just keep track of balances. Oh yeah, like this would be an easy. This would be an easy way to do it, but you want to have users go to another chain and then swap their tokens back to other assets on that chain too. If everyone needs to go back to Ethereum, you have the problem that people are leaving because they don't want to pay the gas fees. And now you tell them, okay, you can go to another chain, but when you want to swap it back, you have to come back again. Makes not really a sense to leave Ethereum then anyway. Yes, JV Trader. They will be the ultimate layer 0. As I just described. There's basically no... You will even be able to, as I just said it, create a cross-chain, bank cross-chain, liquidity farming. You could have an application that has layers, that utilizes layers of blockchains and works through all chains simultaneously. For example, you could create an exchange and you have your collateral stored on Ethereum. Let's say a synthetics protocol. You have your orders stored on XDAI. You farm yield with your liquidity on Binance Chain, and you have events that are triggered on Phantom, and it's all one application that is combined through an Oracle network, or more like an elementary node network. So yeah. Um, so no, we are already engaging new projects to build on that. We already have some partnerships in the pipeline. I think soon there will be a need of projects to utilize this technology, or they will not stay competitive. The same as uh, other synthetics protocols cannot stay competitive with Deus and our own elementary node network. So good. Today should only be like a small live stream, um, just to get back into the flow. I think I'm going to make another one on Sunday, and we can talk more about more then. Yeah, let's talk quick about the marketing. So as it was expected, marketing, the whole process is it's not something that it just happens overnight. Like I have to say that at the beginning of Deus, I was very like, I'm more a technical guy. I'm I don't like the whole marketing side, but I'm getting more and more. I get the feeling more and more and understanding that it's something that users care a lot about, because in the end, it's important that a lot of people flow into the project, and technology is not only important. But right now, we are very heavily on the tech side, and like from a perspective of people actually working at the project, we are like uh, around 30 developers, and we we only have 2% in the project like working on the marketing side. So now we added an agency, but also there the interfacing and everything, it takes time. So basically what we need to do right now is onboard that people, and we're still working on that. So that is about the marketing. But I think at some point, like from one day to the other, uh, we have we have $30 million in the Deus reserves. Yeah. So um, so there is now more agencies being onboarded, and all of this takes time. And now we have to synchronize so many people on so many dates and so many stuffs going on. And before we could just launch it. So I would say when you before everything was like depending on how long a developer will take time to finish it. Thanks for the recommendations. Yeah, we are working with Americans. So you have like that. Yeah, it just takes more time to sync. So that's it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for attending the stream. It was nice. I think we can do more on Sunday. But I will keep the streams like at a half an hour time frame. It's also more relaxing for me, because talking an hour straight is, yeah, good. I also created that suggestions form, so please, if you have any suggestions, anything you saw that could be improved better, write it there, and we can work on it. See you soon.